Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hey, good morning everyone. We continue reading with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10. Does anyone remember what we read previously? The main point?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
we read about pure devotees. They are known as Anya Bilashita Shunyam. They have no material desires. So examples of pure devotees are Prahlāda Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, and many others. And also Prahlāda Maharaj explains, he distinguishes between the pure devotee and pure master. The Lord is the pure master, the supreme master, and whereas the pure devotee is the pure servant. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Because master does not need to flatter the servant. If he's trying to flatter the servant, there is artificial flattery, no need. And then the servant also, if he's asking anything in return for his service, means he's doing business with his master. He's not really a servant. Yeah. But there is reciprocation between Krishna and his devotee, and that is based on love, pure love. Krishna serves the devotee, devotee serving Krishna. And these transactions are not like business transactions, but based on pure love. Yes, thank you so much. So we'll go on. Text 8. Indriyani mana prana
इन्द्रियाणि मनः प्राण
atma dharmo dhritir mati
आत्मधर्मोद्धृतिर्मतिः
Hri Shri Steja Smriti Satyam
Smriti
सत्यम्
Satyam
Yasya Nashyanti Janmana.
यस्य
Nashyanti Janmana.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, because of lusty desires from the very beginning of one's birth, the functions of one's senses, mind, life, body, religion, patience, intelligence, shyness, opulence, strength, memory, and truthfulness are vanquished. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kamam Ridrogam, materialistic life means that one is afflicted by a formidable disease called lusty desire. So, what is this material disease?
It's lusty desire.
Yeah. Desire to enjoy separate from Krishna, lusty desire. That's our disease right now. Liberation means freedom from lusty desires because it is only due to such desires that one must accept repeated birth and death. As long as one's lusty desires are unfulfilled, one must take birth after birth to fulfill them. Because of material desires, therefore, one performs various types of activities and receives various types of bodies with which to try to fulfill desires that are never satisfied. Have you all ever experienced that? That, we had some desire and we are like right now fulfilling that desire. But in the course of fulfilling it, there is another 100 desires already there in our heart. We're already thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, I want to do that. It will be so nice to go here, go there, eat this, eat that. Already one desire we are fulfilling. Already we are thinking so many more. But till the time we do that, we are going to keep on getting more and more material bodies. Because desires are never going to be finished. Material desires will never be satisfied. The only remedy, what is the remedy? Is to take to devotional service, which begins when one is free from all material desires. Then how to do? It says that devotional service begins only when one is free from material desires. So, but we have so many material desires. But we continue with our devotional service to bring us to the position of Anyabilashita Shunya. And then one comes to position of Anyabilashita Shunya and one engages in pure devotional service. So Anyabilashita means material desire and Shunyam means free from. So Abhilash, Abhilash is desire, right? Anya, all these material. Shunyam, zero. So the spiritual soul has spiritual activities and spiritual desires, as described by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mamma janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhaktir ahai tukai tvai. So does a soul have any activities? Does the soul have any desires?
Always.
Yeah,
Soul always
so
have desires and activity, doing something.
yeah, yeah, that's right. The soul has
Because
spiritual
it is,
activities and spiritual desires. I'm sorry.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, because is
Yes,
it
please.
because it's conditioned, that's why it
Ah,
has desires, right?
Because we
well,
have free will, right?
yeah,
Because that's the nature of the soul. The
mm,
nature of the soul is that.
yeah. So when we are conditioned, we have material desires and we have material activities. But in the pure state, the soul has spiritual desires and spiritual activities. Soul is
Hare
always
Krishna.
active. Hmm?
Hare
Sorry,
Krishna. Yeah, yeah.
Hare
It's me.
Krishna.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, please,
yeah.
Raka.
So actually, I want to know, like, soul is pure, always pure. Mind have desire, right? Like, because our senses are related with lusty desires and everything, and
That's
soul
right.
is, yeah, soul is pure, and due to the
That's right.
senses, yeah, that's why we conditioned.
That's right. So we get conditioned and we are
Yeah.
thinking we are the body. Then we start
Mm.
having all these material desires. It's like because we are thinking we are the mind, you know. So we get implicated. Although we are pure, but right now we are conditioned,
Yes. Yes.
right? And then once we understand, oh, I'm not the body, let me not identify myself with my mind. And then when we are purified, we again have our pure consciousness. Then we have pure desire, pure activities. Now, under the a conditioning of the material nature, we are having material activities, material desires. Is that okay?
So we are
Yes.
having, meaning the soul is having, right?
Yeah, that's right. The soul
Because
Oh.
always
here it
has
says, na,
desires.
the spiritual soul has spiritual activities, spiritual
Yes,
desires,
yes,
right? Because
yes.
actually, by right origin, the soul doesn't have material desires, but because it's conditioned, right, by the
That's
Yeah.
right.
material nature, so that's
That's
why,
right.
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Then
So
again,
we
that will.
must.
So, I'm sorry.
No, please, you continue. Yeah.
No, no,
Hare
no.
Krishna.
Yeah, we must. What? We must.
Yeah, like we must have to control first our senses. Like our senses uh, must be related with Krishna, and slowly, slowly it will apart from our lusty desires and
Yeah,
drag us to the like devotional service. And after
that's
that,
right.
the soul will also make like pure desires and uh, go to spirituality, right?
That's right.
Mm.
So, because of the free will, we choose. Shall we be in the material energy or shall we be in the spiritual energy? Should we choose Krishna? Should we choose Maya? Should we have spiritual desires? Should we have material desires? That's our free will, right? So then, based on the choice we make, we have that kind of activity then. Yeah. So desire for pure devotional service, is that a spiritual desire or material desire?
Spiritual.
Yeah, spiritual. Thank you. Unalloyed devotion to the service of the Lord is the only spiritual desire. To fulfill this spiritual desire, however, one must be free from all material desires. Desirelessness, desirelessness means freedom from material desires. So we say, right, I wish I had no desire. So what does that mean? That should engage in devotional service, have only spiritual desire. Desire from desire to please Krishna. This is described by Srila Rupa Goswami as Anyabilashita Shunyam. As soon as one has material desires, one loses his spiritual identity. Then all the paraphernalia of one's life, including one's senses, body, religion, patience, and intelligence, are deviated from one's original Krishna consciousness. As soon as one has material desires, one cannot properly use his senses, intelligence, mind, and so on for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? As soon as we have a material desire, lusty desire means what? Any desire to enjoy the material world, any desire to enjoy separate from Krishna. That's a lusty desire. So, as soon as we have this material desire, what happens? Our mind, our senses, our intelligence, they are just focused on how I can fulfill this material desire. We forget Krishna. Krishna goes in the background, somewhere very far away then. But what is the proper use of senses, intelligence, and mind? Is to engage them in Krishna's service. Why? Because they belong to Krishna. He's the real owner, actually. Mayavadi philosophers want to become impersonal, senseless, and mindless, but that is not possible. And because someone may say, I want to give up my individuality after I get liberated. Someone may think liberation means to become shunyam, to become void, to become zero, to become something dark, or to become light, or not exist anymore, means to give up our individuality. But that's never going to happen. Soul is always individual. And soul is eternal. Soul is not dead matter. It's not unconscious. It's not like a drop of water or a piece of paper. Soul is conscious, spiritual. These should be purified, however, so that one desires spiritually. One can desire spiritually and be spiritually ambitious without material contamination. In every living entity, these propensities exist because he is a living entity. When materially contaminated, however, one is put into the hands of material misery. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi. So because we are tiny, our constitutional position is we are tiny, anu. And so we have this tendency to come under the control of Maya. We have that tendency. We have this tendency to enjoy the material world because we are tiny. Krishna never has that desire. Krishna is the controller of material energy. But the pure desire is, how can I please Krishna? That's a pure desire. In every living entity, okay, if one wants to stop birth and death, one must take to the devotional service of the Lord. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all the senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is free from all material designations, and simply by being employed in the service of the Lord, one's senses are purified. So, how can we stop the cycle of birth and death? Hey Bhagavan, mujhe ye dunya se nikal do. So, what do we have to do that?
Only pure devotional service.
Yeah, we need to engage in pure devotional service. Okay, and how does devotional service begin?
Hearing and chanting, no material
Hearing and
desires.
chanting. Hearing and chanting. Yeah. Okay, then that means what we are doing? We are engaging our senses, right? When we are hearing, we are chanting. We are
Yeah.
engaging our senses to serve the Lord. Hearing for the pleasure of Krishna, chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. So, engaging our senses in the service of Master of the senses. What is Krishna's name referring him to Master of senses?
Rishikesha.
Rishikesh. Yeah. And what is the side effect that happens when we engage in devotional service?
We are freed from material designations.
That's right.
Mm.
We get free from material. What are these material designations, for example?
Maybe
My
some,
husband,
yeah, one's
my
body is
mother.
added.
Body.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can understand I'm not this body. Otherwise, we are thinking I'm body, I'm human being, I'm female, I'm this country, this nationality, this society. So many designations. I'm mother, I'm sister, I'm so many designations. But once we engage in devotional service, we can understand I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And then engaging in devotional service, we can understand I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And also, what happens?
We are eternal servants of the Lord. We are totally into the service of the Lord.
Yes. And then what happens? Our
Senses are
senses are
purified.
purified. Yes, that's right. Our senses are purified. Then, with our pure senses, we can serve Krishna. With our spiritual senses, then we can serve Krishna. Right now, our senses have become covered by this material energy. Mm.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
comments? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Krishna. I just wanted to ask, like, if women they have lusty desire for Krishna, is
Mm.
it called lusty desire? Like when Krishna and Balaram they went to Mathura, right? When they
Mm.
entered and the women were like enchanted. They were like seeing his beauty, Krishna
Mm.
and Balaram's beauty. So they were like, they had that lusty desire. So is it still called lusty? I mean, or is it okay to have that kind of
Yeah,
desire?
so yeah, like when Krishna, same yeah, when he went to Mathura, then Kubja saw
Yeah,
him, right? And then
yeah.
Kubja had this lusty desire. She wanted to enjoy Krishna,
Mm,
you know? So her desire was separate than the gopis. The gopis wanted to serve Krishna, always serve him out of love. But
yeah,
Kubja wanted to enjoy him, you
yeah.
know? So that's why it's called that she had lusty desires for Krishna. Of course, whatever desire we should have it for Krishna. Better to
Yeah.
have lusty desires for Krishna rather than anyone else. And
So
then
it's
gradually
okay.
purify it. And then
Right.
gradually purify it. Come to the point of service. Instead of wanting to enjoy Krishna, we need to come to the point of being enjoyed by Krishna. In the sense, coming to serve Krishna. Being in that relationship with Krishna. That I want to please Krishna. How can I please Krishna? So we may have lusty desires, then at least let it be for Krishna and then purify it. Still needs purification then to come to the
Because he's
point
so
of,
beautiful, right? Like
huh?
this. He's so
Yeah,
beautiful. So
right.
that's it's bound to happen, right? Like you
But then
will
you
have
may
that.
not call it, but may not be lusty desire then.
That's why you don't call it lusty, right?
Yeah,
Or you
it
still
can't be. No, you can't.
it's not
Appreciating
like how in
Krishna's
the
beauty. No,
not like how like people have here in this material world.
yeah,
That's different.
no,
Like some
yeah.
men.
It's completely different because Krishna's beauty is transcendental beauty,
Mm,
right? So that's
yeah.
not that can't be called lusty desire for Krishna. Then that appreciating Krishna's beauty is also devotional service. Krishna is so attractive that
So
everyone just gets attracted to Krishna. Mm, yeah. It's good to have that kind of attraction for Krishna. Right? Attraction for Krishna, and then gradually wanting to serve Krishna. Yeah. So it may begin like a Shantaras. Oh, Krishna is so attractive. So that's Shantaras, right? And then coming up to Dasya, like I want to serve Krishna. Let me do something for him. How can I please him?
but like how, right? They say like you can establish a relationship with Krishna. I mean, he can be your he can be your husband. He can be
Yes,
right.
yes,
So
right.
then that's
Yes, that's
not
right.
necessarily dasya means my father or whatever, but it
Yeah,
can
that
be
is
that
Madhurya.
relationship.
That is
Mother,
Madhurya
yeah.
Ras. Yeah. And that is based on love. That's a loving relationship. This is not lusty desire then.
It's not lasting.
Of course, yeah. Yeah. It's not. It's based on love. Like I know sometimes, like it will be said that oh, the gopis had lusty desire for Krishna, just like young boy and young girl. But actually, the basis is love. It's a conjugal relationship, yeah, but the basis is love, not lust. And yeah, each soul has a relationship with Krishna, either as servant or a parent or a friend or conjugal. Yeah, as the gopis or Radharani, they have conjugal relationship.
That's the highest, right?
Highest, yes, it's the highest. That's right. And it is a valid relationship. Yeah. Based on love. Yeah. We'll go on.
Yes.
Vimunchati yada kaman
Vimunchyate yada kaman
manavo manasi sthitan
Manavo
manavo
manasi
manasi
sthitan
sthita
tarhi eva pundarikaksha
tahi
tarhi
eva
eva
pundarikaksha
pundarikaksha
bhagavata bhagavattvaya kalpate.
bhagavat vaya
bhagavattvaya
kalpate.
kalpate.
Oh my Lord, when a human being is able to give up all the material desires in his mind, he becomes eligible to possess wealth and opulence like yours. Atheistic men sometimes criticize a devotee by saying, if you do not want to take any benediction from the Lord, and if the servant of the Lord is as opulent as the Lord himself, why do you ask for the benediction of being engaged as the Lord's servant? So Prabhupada is saying, he's saying, somebody can ask this question that you're saying, I don't want any benediction. I just want to be engaged in service to the Lord. But if you're as opulent as the Lord, then why are you asking for service? So Prabhupada is saying somebody can say that. So then Sridhar Swami comments, Bhagavat Vaya Bhagavat Saman Aishwaryaya. Bhagavat Va. Becoming as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not mean becoming one with Him or equal to Him. Although in the spiritual world, the servant is equally as opulent as the master. The servant of the Lord is engaged in the service of the Lord as a servant, friend, father, mother, or conjugal lover, all of whom are equally as opulent as the Lord. This is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. The master and servant are different, yet equal in opulence. This is the meaning of simultaneous. One, a simultaneous difference from the Supreme Lord and oneness with Him. So one is, so Prabhupada is saying one can question, if you're as opulent as the Lord, you don't want any benediction from Him, then why are you asking to serve Him? So Sridhar Swami is commentary Prabhupada is explaining is, what does it mean? Becoming as good as the Supreme Lord, becoming as opulent as the Supreme Lord, doesn't mean that one becomes God. God is still God, and the individual soul is the individual soul. And the individual soul can have a relationship with God in any of these five rasas, a reciprocal relationship. So the servant is also very opulent. We are seeing the cowherd boys also. They are dressed like Krishna is dressed. They also have the jewels, and they have their own cows. So, like their father has many, many cows also, just as Nanda Baba has many cows, and they also have their jewels. So opulence, they are all also opulent, but the mood of service is there. Could be mood of serving Krishna as a lover, but that mood of service is always there in the individual soul. The individual soul does not become God, but we need to revive our relationship with God. Comments? Questions?
Yeah, that means it's trying to, like it distinguishes between God, Krishna, and the spiritual master. Yes, the spiritual master is opulent, but he is not God.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so that's how, like, how many times the devotees, I mean, the people who love their master a lot, and they say, no, he's God, he's Bhagwan.
No, cannot.
That's what. So it cannot
Yeah.
happen. It's
No,
definitely, yeah.
no,
I
cannot
mean,
happen.
you can respect, you can pray to your spiritual master, but I mean, give him that same respect as God, but then he is not God, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Only
So
God is
that's why
God.
we have to, God. So this is, the Achintya Beda Beda.
Veda, Abeda. Yeah.
Yeah,
Spiritual
right.
master can never become God.
Yes.
Nobody can become God. Only God
Nobody
is
can
God.
become. Yes.
Yeah. Only God is always God. Yes. Okay, going on. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam
Om
Om
Namo
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 Bhagavate
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 Tubhyam
Tubhyam
Purushaya Mahatmane
Purushaya
Purushaya Mahatmane
Mahatmane
Hare Bhuta Simhaya
Hare
Hare Adbhuta
Adbhuta
Maya
Simhaya
Simhaya
Brahmane Paramatmane.
Brahmane
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 Paramatmane.
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 O my Lord, full of six opulences. O Supreme Person. O Supreme Killer. I'm sorry. O Supreme Soul, killer of all miseries. O Supreme Person in the form of a wonderful lion and man, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. In the previous verse, Prahlāda Maharaj has explained that a devotee can achieve the platform of Bhagavatva, being as good as a Supreme Person, but this does not mean that the devotee loses his position as a servant. A pure servant of the Lord, although as opulent as the Lord, is still meant to offer respectful obeisances to the Lord in service. So the soul, even though he's purified, he's liberated, he never loses the desire to serve the Lord. In fact, that's the only desire he has when he is liberated, that he wants to serve the Lord, wants to offer obeisances to the Lord. Prahlāda Maharaj was engaged in pacifying the Lord, and therefore he did not consider himself equal to the Lord. He defined his position as a servant and offered respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Does that become more clearer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. More clear, yeah.
Okay. Shri Bhagwan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vachan
Nekantino me mai jatva iha shisha
Nekantino
Nekantino
me
me
Jatviha
maichat iha
Sisa
ashisha
asha te mutra chaye bhavat vidhaha.
Asha
asha
Shate
sate
Mutra
mudra
Chate
chaye
Rachaye
bhavat
bhavat
Vidaha
vidha
vitaha.
Tathapi manvantaram etadatra
tadhapi
Thapi Manvantaram Etad Atra
manvantaramedadatra
Daityeshwaranam anubhum shvabhogan.
Daityeshwarana
Daiteshwaranam
anubhum shvabhogan.
Anumkshvabhogan.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Prahlāda, a devotee like you never desires any kind of material opulences, either in this life or in the next. Nonetheless, I order you to enjoy the opulences of the demons in this material world, acting as their king until the end of the duration of time occupied by Manu. One Manu lives for a duration of time calculated to be an aggregate of 71 yuga cycles, each of which equals 4,300,000 years. So, how many Manus are there in one day of Brahma?
14 Manus in one day of Brahma.
14 Manus. That's right. 14 Manus. And then how many Chatur Yugas are there in one day of Brahma?
1,000?
1,000. And one Manu lives for how many of this Chatur Yuga cycle?
One Manu lives for
It's mentioned here.
71.
71.
Yes, 71. That's right. One Manu lives for 71 of this Chatur Yuga cycle. Okay. So that means it is, and one cycle is 4,300,000 years. So one Manu lives for 4,300,000 times 71.
Wow.
Because one cycle is 4,300,000. So times 71. And that's the age of Manu.
Each of
4,300,000
one Manu.
of one Manu. That's right.
And there are 14 Manus
Yeah. In
in a
Lord
day.
Brahma's life. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a day.
Wow.
In a day. So the Manu itself is living for 305,300,000 years. One Manu is living 305,300,000 years. Okay. Although atheistic men like to enjoy material opulences and they endeavor with great energy to build residences, roads, cities, and factories, unfortunately, they cannot live more than 80, 90, or at the most 100 years. It's true, right? How much can we live? Barely anyone is living up to 100. And already we reach up to 80, 90, and then our health is, the quality of life may not be very good. So, although the materialist exerts so much energy to create a kingdom of hallucinations, he is unable to enjoy it for more than a few years. Because the prime time when we can actually enjoy that life is not so much if we calculate. We may say we live 100 years, but how much of that 100 years actually we are enjoying? Right? So much of the time goes as child studying, have to go to school, college, then becoming an adult, pressures of being an adult, family. So, however, and then disease may come and old age comes. However, because Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee, the Lord allowed him to enjoy material opulence as the king of the materialist. Prahlad Maharaj had taken birth in the family of Hiranyakashipu, who was the topmost materialist. And since Prahlad was the bona fide heir of his father, the Supreme Lord allowed him to enjoy the kingdom created by his father for so many years that no materialist could calculate them. So he is saying that you can, by as you will live, you will enjoy the kingdom as long as one Manu. So that is 300 million years. 305,300,000 human years. Okay. A devotee does not have to desire material opulence, but if he is a pure devotee, there is ample opportunity for him to enjoy material happiness also without personal endeavor. Because Krishna is personally taking care of the devotee. Krishna wants the devotee to be happy. So Krishna makes arrangements that the devotee is happy. Therefore, everyone is advised to take to devotional service under all circumstances. If one desires material opulence, he can also become a pure devotee and his desires will be fulfilled. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.10, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udharati tivrena bhakti yogena yajita parusham param. Whether one desires everything or nothing, or whether he desires to merge into the existence of the Lord, he is intelligent. Only if he worships Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by rendering transcendental loving service. So, should one worship Krishna if one has material desires?
Yes.
Yes. Or if one wants to get liberation?
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
Worship Krishna.
Yeah. And of course, if one has no material desires, right? So
Then
worship
also worship
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah.
In all circumstances.
In all circumstances. Yeah. That's right. Worship Krishna by engaging in devotional service. Because one may say, okay, how I have to worship Krishna, what I have to do? Engage in devotional service. That's how we worship Krishna. Comments? Questions?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So it
Krishna.
is so much, like so nicely Prahlāda Maharaj mentioned in the verse that what I desire is that I don't have material desires. If you want to give me something, then just give me that I don't have any material desires.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what he's praying. He said that within
Yeah.
the core of my heart also I should not have any material desire. Means any deep, deep, deep desires, no subtle desire also, material, no subtle material desire.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we all are running behind the material desire. Like, yeah, because we are human, we have. How can we are just.
Yeah, but we can
It's
also
good.
pray. You know,
Yeah, we can
we
pray
have,
definitely.
we have a lot of material desires, but we can pray to Krishna also. Please let me also have no material desire. We can pray to him.
But a
And then
5-year-old
that's a
boy,
pure desire. 5 year.
5-year-old boy.
I know, right? Amazing, right?
Amazing. Yeah, it's really
Really
wonderful.
amazing, right?
And he's really a Mahajan. That's why he's a Mahajan.
Yeah. His teachings are so profound, so simple, and yet so difficult for us to follow.
Yes.
But he's made it simple. He's saying you can also pray like this, no? How
Hmm.
he's praying, we can pray. Right?
Yeah, it's
He's,
really
he's
beautiful.
made it very simple devotional service. He's saying you hear and chant the Lord. He say you want a solution to your material problems. Well, you're not going to find any material solution. There's only spiritual solution. So you hear and chant. So it's like very simple words he's put, the whole essence of Krishna consciousness. So if no more comments, we'll stop here. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much for